Hello out there to all the viewers. My name is Lashara Jenkins, and I am a member of the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, ESGR, the California Committee. ESGR is a Department of Defense program predicated on fostering a mutually beneficial employment environment, shared cooperation, and understanding between reserve component members and their civilian employers across all sectors of business. One of my roles on the ESGR California Committee is as the Deputy Director of the United States Navy Reserve's California ESGR Ambassador Program. Within that role, amongst other things, I get to assist the Navy Reserve Ambassador Program Director, retired Navy Captain Marco Cromartie, on facilitating a variety of military and employer outreach events, Navy Reserve events, focused events, if you will, out in California. One of which just transpired a couple weeks ago was the Navy Reserve's National Employer Recognition Event, or NERE for short. The NERE is an annual Navy Reserve hosted event that recognizes patriotic employers from across the nation who provide outstanding support primarily to Guard and Reservists, specifically Navy Reserve personnel. One of the patriotic employers we were able to personally support was Mr. Maurice Wilson. Maurice is the President Executive Director of the National Veterans Transition Services, or REBOOT. Maurice, I've got to tell you, from our first introduction, I was instantly impressed with your passion and dedication for helping our military community, particularly our Guard and Reservists. Beyond that, though, as a professional, you've accumulated quite the cache of experience and accolades driven by your efforts to support our military service members, their families, and educating businesses looking to support Guard and Reservists or service members. I could go down the list of accomplishments and so forth, but I believe our viewers would want to hear directly from you more about the National Veterans Transition Services, aka REBOOT, your professional accomplishments, and where your driving energy comes from. So Maurice, please tell us.
Well, thank you, Lashara. It's a pleasure to be here and to speak to your audience about National Veterans Transition Services, also called REBOOT. And, just for the audience, REBOOT really stands for Reverse Boot Camp. And as you all know, we go through anywhere from 8 to 13 weeks of boot camp to become soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, which is all about changing the person's behavior, your thought processes, your mindset in the whole 9 yards, so that you can wear the uniform proudly and deliver services. However, when you leave the military, very rarely, if ever, does anyone take you through a reverse boot camp to help you recalibrate your mindset so you can get ready for that. We call it the reentry or integration back into civilian life. So, Lashara, that's what we do. And, as you can probably tell, we're very, very passionate about it. We've been doing this now going on 12 years. We do it proudly. It's successful. And we can't see ourselves doing anything else other than really helping our proud service members and their families.
Okay, Maurice, I thought I was hyper passionate about the mission of supporting our military, but I gotta say you match my energy, and that is definitely not an easy undertaking. You not only talk the talk, but you walk the walk when it comes to producing tangible efforts in supporting our Guard and Reservists military communities, as you just pointed out through your organization. So given all your patriotic efforts, you were one of the honorary employers who garnered an invite to partake in this NERE, the National Navy Employer Recognition Event, and hosted down in San Diego just a couple of weeks ago. And if I may, on behalf of myself and the viewers, I'd like to pick your brain a little bit and capture your reflections on the most recent NERE. And if so, I'd like to go ahead and jump right on in.
Absolutely, please. Let's do it.
Yes. Good. So beyond bestowing recognitions and honors to employers, a driving emphasis of the NERE is to give employers a day in the life, real life tour of what Navy service members really do. There's ship tours, there were aircraft displays, there was Navy personnel demos, the whole 9 yards. As a retired Navy Master Chief Petty Officer, having fulfilled the senior enlisted role, you came to the event with a unique understanding and familiarity of the inner workings of the Navy. And given that, I'm really interested to know, and I'm sure our viewers are really interested to know, what was your overall impression of the NERE? And secondly, given your background, were there any really wow moments, any surprising moments from the NERE?
So again, as you pointed out, my perspective was probably a lot different than, let's say, the employers who may not have served. I've seen a lot of those events and activities. I've been on the Midway. I've been over on North Island. I've been into squadrons. I've been over to the SEAL-based training unit. So it wasn't unfamiliar, but let me put it to you like this. Having been out for over 20 years, it was sort of like one of those connecting moments where I was drawn back into yesteryear, and I felt the pride and the excitement, understanding and seeing our technology, our capabilities, our young people, looking at them and how ready they are. My perspective was to look around at, okay, as the brass polished, are people dressed properly? Are they wearing the right haircuts? So again, I'm looking at it with a totally different set of eyes. And I saw everything that I needed to see and more. And so what that did for me was it reinvigorated, reignited my pride in the service, and almost, created like a tearful moment where, I was like, maybe I want to put that uniform back on again. No, not yet. But it was just one of those really, really good moments that, made me reflect back with pride, honor, the respect. And then, talking to the young people, it was really, really fantastic. And as well as going over to the Navy SEAL, the new Navy SEAL Training Center. And again, watching the demonstrations and then talking to a lot of the sailors, the Navy SEALs, about what they're doing. It was a really prideful moment for me.
Good. So a lot of reminiscing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes.
But given that this was your first experience as an employer on a NERE, given what you're seeing, it's safe to say that it met your expectations or exceeded them. And would you like to sort of elaborate on your sentiments on your expectations?
Well, I think on that note, NERE close to met my expectations, and I'll tell you why. There was really nothing wrong with the agenda, the way the agenda was executed. I'm telling you, the quality of the people, it was outstanding. And again, it's not an issue with NERE. It's perhaps maybe a manifestation of the times where, right now we're, still dealing with COVID-19. We have the Delta variant. And so we have to practice social distancing and things like that. So I think I felt the sense of holding back and not actually getting out there and actually putting hands on things. Again, the thing that I always look for are memories, as the employer comes out and experiences the day. And I could tell you, as I was watching a lot of the employers, there were a lot of wow moments, where they're on board the Midway and they're going, wow, an aircraft carrier, never been here, wow. And then over at the air station at the Squadron, and then looking at the different aircraft, it was kind of like a hands-on, you get to go on the helicopters, you get to go on the airplane and touch and, the jets and things like that. Again, there was that wow effect. I think what would have maybe made it a little bit even more memorable would have been an opportunity to get wet and dirty, where you were even able to even jump in the pool, if you will. So, but I totally understood. It's a manifestation of what's going on with the COVID-19 issues right there. I think that's the only thing that I could even add to the experience. Other than that, it was well executed all the way from the first thing in the morning to getting on the buses and going from base to base, even to the evening dinner over at the Admiral Kid Club and just hanging out with all the flag officers. I think we had about maybe 5 or 6 admirals there. They were all hanging out, drinking beer, very friendly. The food was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. I mean, right there on the bay, you look at Coronado. I think NERE did just a fantastic job. And there's always that people part and the people part, which is engaging, feeling the fellowship, being included in conversations. They just did a great job. So, bravo Zulu to the whole team on that effort.
Good. So as you know and can tell, the NERE is the Navy Reserve show. They're the driving force behind the activities, the schedule, and so forth. They work tirelessly in advance to facilitate an event of this magnitude. We, as members of the California ESGR committee, graciously accepted the Navy Reserve's invitation to support them as collaborative partners. And as humble collaborative partners, did any of the California ESGR volunteers really stand out? And if so, what was it that caused them to stand out?
Well, they all did. And I know most of them, so we kind of like hang out in certain places. And so it was friends hanging out with friends. And so they did what they always do, which is represent the ESGR very proudly. These are learned, smart individuals who they themselves served with distinction and pride. And so they make they make excellent ambassadors and representatives of ESGR. They promoted the brand. That's civilian talk stuff. They promoted the brand very, very well, represented well. They were engaging. They were filling in the gaps to make sure that every employer had someone to talk to. They kept them engaged all the time. And so I couldn't be prouder of the Guard and Reserve for the things they did in the manner in which they executed this event.
Great. Okay, so retrospectively speaking, it's been a couple of weeks since the event has transpired, and you've had a little time to reflect, to cogitate, to ponder on the event and everything that transpired. How has the NERE experience changed, if any, your perception of your Navy reservists, their job or their military reserve job? Did the experience of the NERE cause you to find an increased value in their service?
So that's a tough question, if you will. Give it again, as I said, because of my military perspective overall. And so did it enhance the value? It refreshed and renewed my understanding of what I already knew in the past. And so it really made it crystal clear or resurfaced. So again, it's sort of like an old memory that fades. You move on to something else. Then all of a sudden you get a booster and you're back in the moment. And so I was able to kind of get back in the moment and feel that. Now, even to this day, I'm still thinking now of ways to engage ESGR, ways to engage the Guard and Reserve in my day-to-day operation as far as the things that I do. How can I help make their lives a lot better? And some ideas that I'm working on, I don't want to get into the weeds, if you will, is to find ways to help, especially the active guardsmen with jobs and employment. We do some job matching. And so I'm always looking at now ways that we could up the game, because they gave me an opportunity to, talk a little bit more to my colleagues in the Guard and Reserve on some of the unique challenges that they're facing as far as helping with employment related issues. And so some of the things that we plan to bring to the table is the whole job matching piece. And so we're kind of sort of still living the moment. Is, we got the opportunity to see, firsthand, here are the challenges and issues now. What can we do to help really make things a whole lot better? And so as a community partner, that's really where we are right now.
Good. There's nothing wrong with reinvigoration. We all could use that in some way or another throughout life. So that is great to hear. And so based upon your remarks, you were thoroughly pleased with the execution of the event. You've already given us some ways in which you thought could have maybe enhanced the employer experience by having some more hands-on things. But even without that, and understanding that we're in COVID, you were thoroughly pleased with the event. With that being said, before we conclude, I definitely want to give you space for any last minute comments or remarks, or if you would be so kind, if any of our viewers are interested in learning more about your program, the National Veterans Transition Services, or REBOOT, where can they go to get more information?
Well, they can go to thank you for this opportunity to put a little spotlight on NVTSI /reboot. They can always go to the website, www nvtsi.org. That's one way. Another way is they can actually contact me directly. My email is maurice@nvtsi.org. I'd love to set up Zoom meetings to really walk them through what we're all about. And what we're all about is the transition. And so our goal is to find a way and leverage every ounce of technology and capability to make sure that our service members and service connected members have a smooth reintegration from military to civilian life. And so on that note, we're all about the transition, whether it's the mindset, helping them make that mental transition, or whether it's tools in terms of managing their transition. We actually have launched a couple of apps to really help ease the transition challenges. And these things are actually working very, very well. The one app that we just launched recently helps them manage their transition, just putting in their separation date, and the app tracks it and manages it. That's one. The other one that we're really proud of is, we call it Job Set, and the website is www.job-set.com. And it is a first of its kind artificial intelligence based job matching app where the individual adds their profile into the system, and it builds a profile based on 600 competencies. And then it automatically goes out and matches that person with millions of jobs out there to find just the right ones there. They don't have to go looking. It finds the jobs for them. And it also, and I'll just end here, and it also writes the resume for the person as well. So would love to show people that and invite them to participate. And for those who are looking at the transition piece, they can go to www.mytt365.online, and that's our transition management app.
Wow. So as you can see, viewers, for our honorary NERE participant, Mr. Maurice Wilson, out of your own mouth, this was a once-in-a-lifetime, superbly executed Navy Reserve event that not only honored patriotic employers, but it also one that reinvigorated or enlightened participants on just how hardworking, how diligent, and how second to none our citizen warrior Guard and Reserve personnel are. Maurice, you're a hard charger. As all the information you've given us, we know that your bowl, your plate, and your cup definitely overfloweth as you are here day to day supporting a variety of stakeholders, our Guard and Reservists, veterans, their families, and employers. I and our viewers sincerely appreciate your time of sharing your NERE experience and sharing more about your program. I definitely look forward to growing our ESGR and National Veterans Transition Services collaborative partnership, all in the name of supporting our Guard and Reservist communities. Maurice, viewers, please stay safe and healthy. And until next time, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lashara. Well done.